Welcome back to Shimmering Skies, one of the most complex skyblocks that exists in Terraria. In the last episode, I found myself slowly going insane through 6-minute fights with basic mimics, being vomited on by various antlions, and waiting for cacti to spontaneously erupt from sand in a world without a sun, which is why today's goal is simply to touch some grass. The upside of the last episode is that after 12 hours of grinding, I was finally able to craft a workbench, unlocking a variety of new items and features. First of which is housing, so I craft up some basic tables and chairs, then get to work building the most luxurious dirt hotel rooms known to man, with complimentary chairs made of cactus for extra comfort. When trying to place the tables, I realise they're too big to fit the snug and cosy floor plans of the rooms, so I have to decraft these and collect some more cactus to make workbenches instead. Thankfully, the shimmer makes mistakes like these much less costly. Soon after construction wraps up, the merchant moves in, so I collect all the gold I stacked up from killing mobs and start putting it to use. First I buy an anvil for crafting, and a piggy bank so I no longer have to stack money in world. While doing so, the demolitionist attempts to check in, but takes a wrong turn on his way to the resort. I test out which will be a better source of wood between the copper pickaxe and axe, and at 4 silver compared to 5, the axe works out slightly cheaper for the exact same amount of wood. Unfortunately, that amount is still 1, so I have to buy and shimmer a lot of them to get any kind of usable amount. Meanwhile, the copper from the axes can be shimmered down into stone, allowing me to make my first furnace to smelt ores. Not that I have any. Lastly, I buy another anvil and a bug net, which when combined will allow me to start fishing. To do that though, I first have to decraft the anvil into iron bars and then craft those bars into buckets. I then carry these down to the underworld and begin expanding my platform to the left. I stop once I see hellbats can spawn, as these are the key to obtaining water. In normal worlds in expert mode or above, lava slimes will drop a block of lava when killed. However, in remix worlds this is changed to the hellbats, so that the player isn't drowned by lava immediately upon spawning into the underworld. After killing a couple and collecting the scalding hot bat blood, I return to the surface with 2 filled buckets of lava. I throw one of these into the shimmer to turn it into honey, and then throw it in again to get water, taking me one step closer to fishing. There's one more thing I need though, and that's bait, so I head to my caverns farm and begin converting it into another franchise of my hotel chain, by which point both the demolitionist and zoologist have moved into the surface hotel. I buy the squirrel hook and guide to critter companionship from the zoologist, then upgrade the demolitionist and guide to our new premium suites in the caverns. After cleaning up some of the unnecessary blocks, I begin farming for bait, and it seems I picked the perfect time to do so, as it starts raining shortly after, massively increasing my chances of catching worms. I also get incredibly lucky and catch a gold worm, which I throw into the shimmer to get a permanent increase to my fishing power. By the time the rain ends, I have over 100 worms, but before I start using these, I'd like to get the broadly hated but highly recommended NPC that is the angler. To do so, I bridge out to the right and build a small pool of water there. Due to some more remix seed tomfoolery, the cavern's lair somewhat acts as the ocean, and the angler will spawn on top of water as long as I'm outside of the centre third of the world. I create a fishing pool in both the caverns and on the surface, then place down some more sand to create an artificial desert, which covers pretty much all the available biomes I have for quest fish at the moment. I make sure to do these quests whenever possible, fishing in the desert between them in the hopes of getting a better rod from oasis crates. I never do get one, but I do get a pink pearl from an oyster, which I shimmer into a galaxy pearl for a permanent increase to my luck. Blindly fishing with an incredibly low fishing power is not how you should tackle a map like this, so instead I pivot my attention to crafting a bed so I can massively speed up the time between quests. first step of this process is to decraft some of the danger sense potions I found inside crates, giving me cobwebs. I then place down a few of my many graves until I get ectomist, allowing me to turn the cobwebs into spider walls. Throwing these into shimmer will turn them into infested spider walls, which aside from causing arachnophobia when placed down, can also spawn cobwebs over time. With enough of these I should be able to make a bed, but it's a very slow process, so I continue to do some more fishing in the background, setting a timer for 24 minutes between fishing quests. With enough time and patience, I gather the cobwebs needed to craft the silk needed to craft a bed, which increases my quest completion rate from around 2 per hour all the way to 10. So that's exactly what I do for the next 4 hours, slowly getting better and better fishing gear with each quest, until one day, while looking for a quest fish in the surface, I reel in a particularly shiny crate, and within said crate I find a particularly shiny crystal, that when consumed grants me an additional 20 life. This is the only way to get life crystals in Shimmering Skies, and is the entire reason I'm investing so much time into fishing and fishing quests. And it's paying off, as after another half hour of completing quests I get the golden fishing rod, taking me from a measly 15% fishing power to the maximum of 50. I'm not done with quests just yet though, and one night while sleeping between them I am alerted to a blood moon creeping up on the horizon. This is an excellent opportunity to get some pretty powerful weapons, so I set up a one-way hoik and start fishing up blood moon enemies. By morning I've amassed quite a number of them, and it takes a while to process my way through them. I'm helped out in this regard by a vampire frog staff that drops from one of the enemies, and it's at this point I decide that a hybrid summoner loadout will probably be the best for this playthrough. That's going to require a lot more than one minion slot though, and I have 2 ways to increase this before killing any bosses. First of which is a Flink's fur coat. In most Skyblocks this would be unobtainable until unlocking White Solution after killing the Moonlord, but thanks to the unique starting blocks of Shimmering Skies, we can actually get Flinksies to spawn. Now it's worth noting that these are still incredibly rare, and to craft both the Flink's fur coat and the Flink staff, we'll need to kill at least 5 of them, and that's with the maximum drop rate. All that to say, I was going to need to spend a lot of time in this farm, so I set up a pool of water to keep myself occupied with some more fishing. While doing so, I managed to get the second item that increases our minion slots, that being the wizard's hat. Now I know what you're saying, since when did this magic focus headpiece give an increase to minion slots? Don't worry, you're not going crazy and I'm not using mods. This is simply a change made in worlds where the celebration seed is toggled on, and in this case it counteracts the fact that I can't get summoning potions until after I kill either Skeletron or the Eye of Cthulhu. And speaking of, after some more fishing and farming Flinksies, I take a break to open some more of the crates that I'd collected, and inside the golden ones I found my 5th and 6th life crystals. Consuming just one of these would push me over the 200 health threshold needed for the Eye of Cthulhu to spawn, and is the next step on my path towards touching grass. But before I consume it, I want to make sure I'm ready for the fight itself, so I return to my farm to get the rest of the Flink's fur needed to craft both the fur coat and the staff, then spend an unreasonable amount of time dying in the underworld while trying to get a demon scythe to drop. After over an hour I give in and consume the 5th life crystal, signalling to the eye that I was ready to take it on. Before that though, I wanted to take advantage of my higher health in another way, as in addition to needing 200 health for the eye to spawn, you also need this amount to summon the goblin army, which my minions and I slowly make our way through in the most cowardly way possible. The drops from the goblins themselves aren't very important, although the spiky balls do help against the eye's final phase. No, the real reason I did this was to get the Goblin Tinkerer, and after finding him in the caverns, I buy his workshop and rocket boots, then get to work making some upgraded accessories. First comes combining my various informational accessories to take up much less space in my inventory. I then craft a pair of amphibian boots, a blue horseshoe balloon, a sharkron balloon, and some tiger climbing gear. I also condense my 3 fishing accessories into the angler tackle box, giving me a lot more slots to use in my fishing loadout. With that, all I can really do now is wait for the Eye of Cthulhu to spawn, and while I do I may as well continue farming for the demon scythe. Another hour goes by and I still have no demon scythe, but I do have a feeling that there's an evil presence watching me, so I collect up some potions and head to my arena to take down my first boss of the playthrough. Defeating the Eye is significant in this playthrough for many reasons. Firstly, the Shield of Cthulhu is a pretty neat accessory, but more importantly, the Dryad can now spawn, who is one of the most important NPCs in this playthrough. The Eye also drops some Crimson Seeds, so I fill up my underground fishing spot with dirt and plant them, by which time the Dryad has moved in. I buy some grass seeds from her, and after 30 hours of grind, I can finally do the first thing that most players do upon spawning into a world: touch grass. Now there's a lot left to do in this world, but to see that you'll have to wait for the next episode. Or if you're feeling particularly impatient and generous, you can join my Patreon where the third part of this series has already been uploaded. Either way, thank you for watching, and I'll see you in the next one.